Hi everyone, this is Grandma Sue from Grandmas Ōnly. And today we're just going to jump right in. At the end of this video, then I want to talk a little bit about the essential oils. But right up front, I want to call this someone's listening, someone's watching. You know, oftentimes when you get older, you kind of feel like you're on the back shelf, maybe not getting much attention and rather ignored, and perhaps it's even crossed your mind a few times that you don't really have anything to offer, that the young people really have it together and our children, and they really don't need us. But I have news for you. They are watching and they are listening. No, they will not always acknowledge that. You know, when you were having children, there were times when they heard you, but they did not acknowledge you. Am I right? And then even as they got older, you were sometimes surprised to find that some of the advice you'd given when they were younger, which they not only ignored, but fought over, now, today, they're following that advice and they're teaching it to their own families. So when we were parents and younger, they did hear us. We were not ignored, though many, many times it felt like we were. So I am here to encourage you, grandmas, to leave a legacy with your children. If you don't feel that they are engaging you in a conversation, asking you questions, looking for your advice, then that's okay. But live it right in front of them. Okay? So that means that when there's opportunity for someone to get angry like yourself, that you stand your ground graciously without losing your cool. When there's food being, and I think there's a lot of areas of interest here. What you're eating, what you're feeding them, what their families are feeding them. You know, these are important issues today. And we need, like everything, to start eating the best that we possibly can. And as grandparents, I know there was a day before boxed food in my life. And yes, that came while I was a young person. The TV dinners and more of the canned soups and things came along when I was younger. But there was a time even before that when that wasn't even available. And even after it came available, the families never depended on it for much of a meal at all. It was, in my case, a quick pick-me-up or just something that was convenient. But the meals were set aside to be a special thing. So as grandmas, we can harken back to those days. And oh, I know it's not going to work every single meal. And I know maybe you don't even get that opportunity. But if you do, and if they are coming to your place, you can make it really special. You can make a memory. And you can do it with very good food that's presented well. Yeah. And using wonderful dishes and beautiful things that you do. If you're in my generation, you appreciate beautiful plates and pottery and things. Use it. Use your finer stuff with your children and your grandchildren. Let them get the experience of nicer things in their life, even if it's humble, in humble surroundings, and it's only Corella. Use the Corella in a very nice way. Set it correctly. Go out in the yard and find some flowers or even a beautiful bouquet of dandelions. Let the children bring it in and carefully put it in a teacup in the center of the table. Do things that build up the family. When they sit down to something like that, they just automatically feel better. You see how that works. And you create this little, it's a little connection with them. And someday they will be hearkening back to the things of Grandma's day. And that would be true in how we grocery shop, or how we talk to people on the phone, or just issues that come up, everyday ordinary things that come up. Grandmas can have a great influence without saying a word. You can influence a generation. And so I just want to encourage you to not think because they won't sit down and have the conversation that they are not interested. And also do not think that because they maybe think it's silly right now, and make fun of it even, do not think that the power of your love that you have saturated this remark with, this offering with, that you've taken them shopping and you've carefully demonstrated how you pick out quality, and you feel materials, and you look at seams and all the things that grandmas know to do, but now you do it deliberately in front of the children and in front of the grandchildren. And it is a way to impart into them a legacy of excellence. And it's a very painless way for them to achieve it. And when we start feeling and operating, when they begin operating in these fields of excellence, when they start appreciating a cup of tea that Grandma made special for them in a beautiful teacup, and as little mint candy off to the side, when we do these very special things from our generation, but we are edifying them, we're lifting them up, we're building them up, we're cheering them up, and there will come a day when they sit with their children doing exactly the same thing. Or it might be a neighbor. They'll invite a neighbor over there. Oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to tell this? I don't, my house is a wreck. What are we going to do? And she'll suddenly remember, I could make a cup of tea. And then amidst all the toys and all the clothes that didn't get put away from last night, they may sit down, just clear a space, and enjoy a cup of tea together. It's a connection, a real connection. This is what I'm really encouraging us to do, because what we do with our families and children is making a connection with them. When we do these wonderful things, it teaches them how to do better things. But why? So that we make a connection with them, a real deep connection, an authentic connection with them. And now we've shown them how they can do the same. Excuse me. I used to do that with first graders, and I would take my teacups in and I would make tea and put it in a beautiful teapot. We had tea parties. We invited the parents to come, and all my little children had never, ever even seen a teacup. And so I had spent some time ahead teaching them how to hold the teacup, how to set it carefully on a saucer, how to use the spoon, all these things, so that when we actually had our little tea party with their moms and dads, they taught their parents. You see, it does pay it forward. It really does. And what were we doing? We were making authentic connections in a school setting, but we made it friendly. We made it homey. We made it personal. And we can do that with our children and our grandchildren. Now, I oftentimes talk to us about the essential oils, and I do that because there really is a wonderful legacy that we can hand down to our children through the essential oils. Just a super natural, organic way to treat, well, dang, I'm not supposed to say that, but we use this to support our bodies. And it's the first line of defense, right? The first line. So this is called forgive. Guess what? It helps you do. Okay? So if, let's say we've had that morning from where, and you're not, and maybe even the hubby. So we need to forgive. First yourself, and then that other person. And this actually has been tested in clinical studies and shown to be the most wonderful oil to support our emotions, that we can be peaceful and calm, think even a happy thought, and actually understand why we would forgive. That yes, forgiveness is a little bit about ourselves, of course, because when you don't forgive, you create a darkness in yourself. And over time, that unforgiveness grows into stress-related illnesses. And that's never any good, is it? But also, we forgive because we have been forgiven much. Because we are God's kids. And no matter how you believe it, there's a divine part of us. And that divine part holds no grudges, is not angry, is not resentful, is not seeking revenge, ever. And so we have put together, doTERRA did this, chemically through the laboratory, tested the different oils that are in Forgive, and found these are the ones that give the greatest bang for your buck. Put together, you get a bigger amplified reaction from these oils put together than singly, any of these oils singly. So some of the oils that are in here are, can I find, oh, there it is. So we have the coconut oil, of course, fractionated coconut oil. And we have cardamom, spruce, we have bergamot, we have juniper berry, myrrh, thuja or wood oil, and nuka tree wood oil, and thyme, all blended in this bottle. And when you're having your day, because we're really people too, right? So sometimes we need to forgive others. We can use this ourselves. And we can definitely give these wonderful oils to our grandchildren and our children and say to them, use these first. And if you don't say it to them, like we talked about, just use it yourself and let the very scent of the oil, the essence of the oil, will draw them in. And you can trust that, okay? So until another time, thank you for joining me today. And grandmas, you guys rock.